Like I said, I think what I'm proposing here is reasonable. Let's assume, like, even the New York stuff, they want that as a condition,
Right.
which is, not unreasonable of them. It would have to be, again, us going to, those jurisdictions first to avoid the situation that's been created in Vermont. And simply, then we can kind of say, all right, we went to the jurisdictions involved in the New York body. We get their agreement beforehand, just like that agreement contemplates. We get that in writing. And then you go forward, give us the details on that. And that may conceivably happen before, you go to court on the couriers.
Okay.
But that's all. It's still protecting you, I think. I mean, from any kind of problem.
Or I can just give you the location.
Yeah, we can work on the details there. Yeah, that would be helpful.
And then the rest of the information I could give you after you find out this is all going to work.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to need a show of good faith to take to the family. In other words, tell the family, look, he's serious about this, and we know that because, with a view towards accomplishing this, he's given us the location of another body.
Right.
I think that...
I just want you to understand that I may not be willing to give all the details on that until I find out how this is going to... I'll give you some, like you say, a show of good faith or whatever. I think I can probably find that just off of a map, and you'll probably find something. But I just don't know if I'm willing to give the whole rundown on what happened on that trip until I find out how this is going to work.
Sure.
If you know what I'm saying.
I think, look, we'll be reasonable with you. I think we can convince them to be reasonable. They're a little bit reluctant just given, the other letter they sent. And I think I can tell them, look, we can even move this forward probably even quicker now. If you're even prepared to give us the location now, I'll take it back to them and say he's already done it, so let's get moving on it. And I can be, Agent Godin and I can be on a plane to Vermont next week.
Well, I mean, that's fine. I mean, but pending having a chance to look this over and
sure
see how feasible it is. I don't know. I'm mostly concerned about timelines and stuff. So,
what is encouraging to me about the possibility of this is just having watched that press conference in Vermont, where we were able to kind of get the state and federal jurisdictions not to confirm anything that they knew and get beaten up by the press simply because of their commitment to public service and the commitment to providing resolution to as many families as possible. I mean, that to me was very encouraging that, hey, this really can work, and it can work in a way in which everybody hopefully gets what they want.
Well, my position on the whole media attention thing is, that I don't want it, but that's, even though I have my own reasons for that, I'll also say that if we can keep it that way, it'll make everybody's job easier, because I have all the details. We don't need the media, we don't need the public's help.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're all on board with that. If we had our druthers, nothing would have happened in Vermont. We're not in it for the glory. We're in it to just provide. We represent, the United States of America, and we're trying, as corny as that may seem, we're in it to just try to provide the resolution for as many families across the country as possible. And then if the book is closed on this without, anything else being written, fine. I don't care.
Right. The media can make our job difficult too, so we completely agree with you on that.
Well, that's an observation I've had over the last few months, is that, I had pretty serious concerns regarding the media and attention that might be sought by a lot of different law enforcement agencies, but I have to say so far I've been impressed, and I don't think... I think that you've all certainly done your part in keeping it out of the media as much as possible. So,
and we don't want it in the media, and we know that's not in our best interest. Why? I mean,
right.
we're looking at the bigger picture, and I know Vermont is too. Unfortunately, they can't, and we can't go to the media and tell them why it's important for them not to release this story, because to them this is probably the biggest story they have. So
Right.
they don't know the big picture, and we can't go to them and say, hey, if you release this, it's going to mess this up, because
Yeah.
I mean that would create even a bigger media frenzy if they release that information. So,
Right. I'm 100% with you on that. I'm not too worried about them printing some story about me unsubstantiated. They don't have anything. So, I mean, as long as the media doesn't get any of these details, I certainly am not leaking any of the details of any of the things I've done to anyone, not even anyone. I mean, like I've said, you guys know more about me now than anyone. So, as long as I don't see any of those details in the press, then I'm happy to keep giving you the details. But as soon as some of those details start to come out, then I know it came from somewhere, and that's not, not gonna help matters in the future. So,
Yeah, and I think, in terms of Vermont, dealing with Vermont, obviously we have kind of a greater responsibility just by the fact that we're the federal government. We have to represent people, all across the country. Vermont, they represent the state of Vermont, and if, that's their only victim here, they have to be convinced otherwise, and I think we can do that. I think we can manage that. It's just a matter of, getting things moving and reaching out to some of these jurisdictions, and I think we just explained to you once, I think, about just the snowball effect of some of this stuff.
right.
That once we start snowballing, I think no one's going to stand in our way. And in the context of that, you get the resolution of the Courier case wrapped in with all the other cases that you don't get any kind of, local prosecution of. So I think that's a huge benefit.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't know everything, obviously, but so far it sounds good to me. So hopefully,
Hopefully we can make it work.
yeah.
now, do you that when you take that back with you, is that something that you get to keep? They won't.
They should let me keep it.
Will they look at that to read it?
I hope,
They shouldn't
hopefully
read it
not.
now.
No, they don't. They're not
You just tell them it's
supposed to read
lawyer stuff, right?
it. Yeah.
Okay.
They haven't been checking me as closely lately. So.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
With the paperwork, right?
I'm always a mindset to kind of move things forward quickly. Like I said, I'll drop everything and move with this thing. I would be fishing on the Kenai today if it wasn't for this. So,
Oh, you still got some time.
The traffic's going to be unbearable now.
Yeah.
yeah,
Good luck.
forget it, man. I'm not going to get down there. I'm going to fish. Obviously, I want to give you time to look at that. If you want, we can certainly, while you're looking at it, with respect to the New York jurisdictions, just those jurisdictions, we can reach out to them and start doing that immediately if you think it's appropriate. I think it would help things just because you're not giving away anything, and it gives us time, and the more time, that we have to work from our end, the quicker things go.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's within a few miles of that bank that I robbed in Pepper Lake. Like I say, I can probably find it on a map, but I'm not gonna give the exact location till
Okay. No, I mean
a little more time to look.
Well,
this
that
over.
helps with that.
Yeah, that helps with
That
that.
gives us jurisdiction. I mean, we can figure out jurisdiction.
Jurisdiction where the body might be. How about jurisdiction where is there another jurisdiction involved in any way?
Yeah, but I'm not gonna go into that right now. Like I say, if we get through the court process and get the plea thing, whatever it is, the plea agreement signed or whatever, and then I'll get the rest of the. We can do all the rest of the information.
Okay.
I mean, at least, and just to tell you, again, not to give you legal advice, but just how practically these things work is sometimes, the jurisdictions that can charge you are jurisdiction where murder occurred, jurisdiction where body was transported, and jurisdiction where a body was buried. So, to protect you, it's not like we're asking these questions for, our own advice, but to protect you from the prosecutions from outside jurisdictions. Those are the jurisdictions we're going to need.
Right.
Is those things. This way we can kind of get their agreement up front, and then, then we can go and get more details from you.
Well, I mean, I'll give you the whole story. Honestly, it was a few years ago, so I may not get the exact order of everything, but I'm sure you guys can put that stuff together.
Sure.
But I mean, when the time comes, it's not like I forgot what happened. I can give you timelines and where things happened, and I mean, I'm sure some of that stuff you've probably already figured out by now. So
Yeah. So let me just so we can figure out schedule here, and we're going to try to reach out to the FBI. FBI in D.C. will reach out to that area around the Tupper Lake. I'm sure that's only one jurisdiction.
Should be.
That is the Northern District of New York there. And, basically advise them of it, and then we'll figure out the local jurisdiction there. Now, I think we can tell the local jurisdiction, though, just so when we're having a conversation with them, hey, look, while there may be a body buried in your jurisdiction, there was no murder that occurred in that jurisdiction, correct?
well, does it matter?
It matters for them, probably, because...
Like I say, there's nobody else who knows about
Yeah,
this, so
yeah.
if it makes it easier, I can tell it. You just tell me where you want the murder to take place. I don't want to tell you where it happened.
No, we want the truth, so...
Yeah, but honestly, you all you want is that I did it and how I did it. You don't really care where.
Well, I mean, just to sort of protect you. That's what I'm saying.
To get these agreements, we're going to have to know.
I got you. I mean, look, I understand. Like, hey, you took them from one jurisdiction and brought them to another. Is that fair?
Right.
So, where exactly they were when you committed the murder, I understand your perspective on that.
I don't really know.
Let me rephrase my question. I'll not to be too lawyer-like, but I'll rephrase it. We can tell them that the place from the jurisdiction where this person is buried, that person was not taken from that jurisdiction.
No.
Okay. That, I think, can kind of give them a little bit more comfort about saying, hey, look, you're not really giving away anything. The person was taken from another jurisdiction. We don't know where yet, but he's going to tell us, provided you sign off on that. Then the next step would be, what jurisdiction was this person taken from? And if there's a different jurisdiction where they were murdered, then, tell us that. But I don't know if those are all different or what. Again, it depends on where they are.
I don't know. I mean, like I say, you tell me if that makes a difference. Then
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
this one is for sure gonna stay federal, I would think. So I don't. Does it make a difference where the person actually
It could.
died?
Just so they know what they're agreeing to.
Well, and it could from the standpoint of we wouldn't, if we work all of this out and you give us, let's say, hypothetically, you give us a jurisdiction where they were taken from and a jurisdiction where the body was found, and all of this gets resolved. What we don't want to have happen, and I don't think what you want to have happen, is a year from now, the jurisdiction where, for whatever reason, a jurisdiction where they think a murder happened jumps into this and wants to start pulling you into things. So that's why having that kind of that three-pronged
As long as we have
thing is
all the
important.
jurisdictions.
We want to cover those up front so you don't end up getting screwed in the end and we don't end up having any surprises in the end. So we can get all the assurances up front. So that's I think kind of why the three are important.
Well, that's what I'm concerned about too. That's why I'm saying if there's certain things I should leave out of the story, if all you need is that the person died and that's where they are, then that's all I'll give you. But I don't know. I mean, we can do it either way. As far as I'm concerned, I don't care how much information you get. All I care about is what happens with that information after I give it to you. So.